This is the Kayatic Dreams Podcast.
This is the Kayatic Dreams Podcast.
It was all a dream, love. It's the Brooklyn way.
Welcome to the Kayatic Dreams Podcast. I'm your host, AJ, and today I'm bringing you another movie review. And as you guessed it, by the image on display, we're going to be talking about The Flash today. So, usually when I do give my reviews, it's based on inspiration or, my opinion is so different from others, or I just want to go against what the crowd is kind of gearing towards. So with this movie, it had a lot of factors going in that were a knock on the product. So people already formed their opinions before the movie even aired. And if this was a review about clicks, I would have gave the review a week ago when I saw the film. So I'm a week removed from my original viewing. Since then, I've already seen it twice. And it's just a lot of people bagging on this, and I feel like it's unnecessary and kind of biased perspective that is coming from. So going into the film, like I said, a lot of controversy, pertaining to Ezra Miller, which is the star. They've been getting into a lot of issues legally, mentally, just, tearing the fan base apart. A lot of people wanted to see Ezra Miller replaced for the actions that they've caused, supposedly attacking people in Hawaii, rumors of him grooming children or holding children against their parents' will. A lot of things we don't have, confirmations. I'm not here to really harp on what Ezra Miller's issues were going in, but this was a big factor on a lot of people's opinions, and it's real evident. You go on Twitter, you see that some of these people have been leaking cam footage or leaking the cameos days and weeks before The Flash even got a chance to air. Currently, it's on the 4th day of official release, and it's not hitting the 70 million projection that they said it was going to do over the weekend box office. So I guess a lot of people are considering it a bomb already. But, Ezra Miller's issues aside, we also had the situation with the Snyderverse and the fact that they seemingly wanted this film to end the Snyderverse. They decided to go against continuing the Justice League from Snyder's perspective and Snyder's vision. So a lot of fans are against the film for that, outside of the legal issues. On top of that, James Gunn announcing that the DCEU was going to exist, announcing the phase and the set of movies within that phase already, confirming that we will no longer have Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck. So going into this, a lot of other people felt, well, what's the point of going in if everything that I've watched previously ends here and the future DC is not the vision that I want? So I feel like a lot of those three topics kind of hindered the performance of this film. But let's get into the actual film. So I'll start off straight from the beginning. Is it a good movie? Yes, it's a really good movie. Is it a great, groundbreaking experience, something I've never seen before? No, it's not that, but it didn't try to be that either. So the one thing that I'll say that people can't deny about this movie, Ezra Miller, regardless of how you feel about him, did a great role. He played the two Barrys to a point that you never thought, it's the same guy just playing two roles. You actually could believe in the fact that these were two different people based on their personality traits and the very different qualities of the character. Now, a lot of the reviews and a lot of people online have been complaining or either loving younger Barry and his personality, which is more quirky, more annoying, but it's purposely annoying. So I see a lot of reviews and a lot of people talking about the humor was cheesy or it wasn't up to par. It was a good film. It wasn't overly cheesy with the jokes. It hit the right notes. The people I was in the theater with laughed throughout the film. It had a lot of heart. The acting is something that they definitely can't argue against. Ezra did their thing, playing the two different roles. So I definitely give thumbs up for his performance. The other characters in the film, Sasha Cale as Supergirl. We had Ben Affleck coming back. We had Michael Keaton obviously coming back. A lot of people felt going in that this was a movie that was going to focus more on the side characters than it actually being a Flash film to try to bring people in. Now, I'm not going to deny that bringing in somebody like a Michael Keaton and giving them a big role in this film, uh, I'm not going to say it wasn't a commercial play to try to get more money. That's obvious, I'd say. But did it hinder the movie? No. Michael Keaton got his spots. Ben Affleck got his spots. Supergirl or Sasha Cale, she got her spots, and everybody did their thing, contributed to the movie. But it was a Barry Allen film from the beginning to the end, and the heart of the film was basically Barry getting over the fact that his mother's death happened, and trying to basically let go of needing to feel like he has to fix that situation, or by using his powers that he can basically play God and change history. So I won't get too much into the story elements because by now people already know what this is about. It's basically a play on Flashpoint we've seen previously in the comics. We've seen the animated film. We've seen it in the Flash TV show. So all very different. Did they pull it off? Yes, they did. It was really good. It wasn't so many multiversal events that it took away from the film. I felt everything went back to the core of Barry Allen, the love for his mother, the need to grow up and let go of situations. It always came back to that heart of the movie. So honestly, I felt like the story was really good. Did it have points where people could question, what whether it made sense or not? Yeah, but if you're really paying attention, it makes sense. People are talking about all these plot holes, and one of them pretty much, if he went through the whole movie, learned the lesson, and finally let go of his mom, was able to move on and be the hero, why would he then still alter history a little bit by making sure his father was freed out of prison by the end of the film? It's simple. Throughout the entire movie, he's learning that power of going to the past and what can be altered, what can't be altered. And during one of the big explanations of the multiverse and time travel in the film, a conversation between Michael Keaton's Batman and the Flash, he basically explained that when you change a point in history, it gives ripple effects from the past and to the future. So small changes. Now, certain things like Barry's mom dying are fixed point events. No matter what you do, you cannot change it. This has to happen. And certain points in history, regardless of the timeline, the actions happen the same, those fixed points. So Barry's dad wasn't a fixed point. He didn't have to go to jail. That was something that was allowed to change. So that ends up causing a little ripple effect in the future and in the past, like they explained when changing history it does in this movie. By the end, we get that cameo everybody's talking about with George Clooney replacing Ben Affleck's Batman at the very end. Am I happy about that? Should people be too happy about that? I don't know. Depends on what you felt about Batman and Robin. Me personally, as a kid, I enjoyed it. Me as an adult, it's not the greatest film. So, am I up for George Clooney's Batman getting a second chance? I don't know. I don't think I'm here for it. I'm ready to have Robert Pattinson continue his Batman, and then the DCU Batman, do their completely own thing. If it's not if we're not going to have the DCEU, and the point was to move on, and I think this will probably be the only detriment in the film for me, was why even introduce him at the end if we're trying to move on, right? You you had the perfect opportunity to close out all the past history, uh, you know, with the cameos that they showed, and just completely create your own thing. And that I feel like they dropped the ball on. So did it hinder it a little bit? I can agree it hindered that the experience a little bit for me, because I'm like, I was ready for something completely new after this. I'm okay with the fact that Snyder's not coming back at this point. Do I want the films? Yeah, but I'm not gonna let it hurt my experience going forward. And I feel like that's a big reason why The Flash isn't covering the 70 mil projections that it had. People purposely not seeing this film, purposely leaking the footage, purposely giving bad reviews. So another thing that I've been hearing is Ben Affleck's performance. It was great. It was this. It was that. The prime experience of Ben Affleck's Batman. While I can agree, I did enjoy Ben Affleck's Batman in this film. I kind of liked Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman way more. Um, it was Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman, and I feel like they did continue from that continuity, because they showed and said certain things in the film that confirmed it was in the Zack Snyder's timeline, like Iris West even being involved, her mentioning that we see each other, you know, shadowing the situation where he saved her from the car crash in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it does tie into it, but it was so short that I feel like outside of the little action scene, which was amazing, it really showed what Batman could do on screen. Some people out there calling it too cartoony. It's a damn superhero film, and I feel like I consistently repeat that statement in all these superhero reviews or comic book movie reviews. It's a damn superhero film. If you're upset that they're doing cartoony shit, maybe go watch like a documentary or something. Honestly, because we can't keep using that as an excuse. It looks too cartoony, motherfucker. It's superheroes, spandex wearing superheroes. The movie is about a guy who can move past the speed of light. He runs so fast he can go in the past. And your argument for why the movie might suck is because it's cartoony at points. You got to make this make sense to me, as viewers. Make that make sense to me. But another complaint also when talking about Ben Affleck has been his suit in this movie. A lot of people bitching about the change of suit. I don't mind it. We finally got the navy blue Batman in a live action, period. The cowl was reminiscent of Zack Snyder's Justice League. The graphics around it, maybe they could complain that. I'm not someone who complains too much about CGI or harps too much on how great the CGI has to be or the standard that I need to enjoy a film. I've been watching movies for 30 something years of my life, avid film goer. I've seen terrible CGI and still enjoy the film. At this point, stop being, critics of CGI when you probably don't even understand the science behind doing it yourself. Like, the only thing that I can say regarding CGI where I feel like people are complaining the most, and the director did come out and say this was an artistic expression, it was an artistic vision, was the Chrono Bowl scenes. Basically, whenever Flash runs back into the past, he creates this time bowl that he can sit in, and he basically sifts through different timelines, alternate realities. He can see how his past affected the timeline. So these moments, that's the only part where the CG was like super off to me. But I also did, before the director ever confirmed it, I also felt like that was artistic expression. They purposely did that because that was the only time throughout the movie that the CG downgraded as compared to the Flash running around the city, or anytime he's actually saving or doing any actions himself. The Chrono Bowl was, from the director's perspective, said everything slowed down. It's idea of his memories or visions of different universes, and it was meant to look like a blend of everything happening all at once. So, whether you agree with the director's calls for it or not, that was the reasons behind that CGI. Now, like I said, I don't really care about having the CGI be 100% top notch. Does it help? Yes. Does it hurt the film to the point that I can't enjoy it? No, not at all, not once. People are really just complaining to complain. And they're saying, well, they took the Man of Steel battle and pretty much CG'd. It looked like a giant green screen they were fighting. Well, yes, they were in front of a damn green screen. You have aliens fighting in the sky with ships. You have speedsters running around. You have a superpowered woman. You have a bat fighting in the sky. At some point, you're going to need CGI to pull that whole scene together. Stop complaining. Really stop complaining. And obviously, a lot of the people who are complaining are the people leaking the film, are the people seeing the cam footage, are the people in these boards with agendas. Because everyone that I've personally asked, how did you like the movie when they went to go see it, or I've seen, hey, just came from the film, 90% of these people coming back, the film was good to great. Does it have its issues here and there? Of course, every movie does. I feel like just the quality of comic book movies overall has been in a decline. So we're gonna really judge one or two movies based off that. You got to judge the whole medium, because even MCU, I felt like since Endgame, their CGI has been in a crazy decline, and DC has been experiencing the same thing. Shazam didn't have great CGI, had its campy moments. Black Adam, as much as I loved it, had its little wonky CGI here and there. I feel like they're trying to accomplish way too much. They're also copying the alien, cosmic look of the MCU, and I really hope that that's one thing that they reset with this movie. Reset the feel of DC. It doesn't have to copy Marvel. It doesn't have to be, as dark as Snyder. Find a good mix, but make it his own thing. I'm tired of copy and paste, and that's really my only issue with movies coming out, recently. But I think I talked about all the side characters except for the villain. So was Zod the villain of the film? He was one of, but again, this is a Flash story. So the entire movie, you get, every time he hits the Chrono Bowl, you see Dark Flash kind of make his presence felt or show flashes of him. As you progress through the film, Dark Flash makes his presence known even more. Dark Flash, I felt like they pulled it off. It felt like Savitar to me from the Flash TV show. It was his own thing in the same time, so I did enjoy that. The fact that young Barry in the fight scene in the end realized that he was becoming the Dark Flash, but still, it was in his personality to keep running back into the past, try to fix things with Zod, kept failing, coming back. Barry realizes it's a fixed point in time. Regardless of what they do, they're going to lose this battle. This world is going to be destroyed. His mother is going to die in this universe as well, which brings him back to realizing he has to let go, goes back in time, fixes his timeline, or so he thinks, because he makes sure his father gets out of prison. It makes a little bit of reverberations through the timeline and slight changes. So we don't know, outside of George Clooney appearing as Batman, all of the changes that we're gonna see. Like I said, I feel like that was a missed opportunity. Should have just cut it right there. Don't even show who the Batman was. There was 3 different endings from what they said. One ending was going to be the George Clooney ending, which we got. Another was going to be Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot teaming up at the end to support Barry's court situation with Supergirl and Michael Keaton's Batman. That was next, and then another one was gonna have Ben Affleck's Batman, supposedly lost in time or something like that. I think they went with the right one, but they should have never showed it was George Clooney. They could have just ended at who the fuck is this? And that's another thing, the who the fuck is this? A lot of cursing. I was surprised. You don't need it for comedic effect, but I was surprised that they went so adult with certain lines in regards to the Flash. Flash is usually one of those heroes that you can expect a goody good. So that was a good change of pace. I did enjoy that. So you know, issues aside, just focusing on what the movie was, how I felt about it, how I enjoyed it. I'm not considering anything Ezra did. I'm not considering anything the studios did, anything I personally want. Did I enjoy the movie? Yes. Were there issues? Yes, there was. But I'm going to give this movie a good 8 out of 10 because although certain CGI issues were apparent and certain things weren't 100% perfect, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The storyline made sense. The side characters did not take away from the experience of it being a Flash film. The cameos were significant enough, but not enough to take away again for the Flash. I love seeing what's his name? Nicolas Cage's Superman, excuse me. I love seeing that because that's something we never got ever, but was so rumored. We see storyboards. There's a documentary out about the failed Superman attempt with Nicolas Cage. So it was awesome actually getting to see it, regardless of how people felt about the CGI. Seeing Christopher Reeves with his world Supergirl, that was pretty dope, regardless about how people feel about using Christopher Reeves' likeness after the fact that he's dead. I don't feel like it was a disrespect. I think one of the Reeves family would probably spoke out or denied it if it wasn't disrespect. It was just homage to all these years of DC, which was a lot of the point of this film. So, cameos were pretty great. You could have gave us Grant Gustin. That's what I will say. Grant did 9 years wonderfully as the Flash, had his ups and downs with the shows. I feel like this was a great opportunity to pay homage to Grant Gustin as well as we move away from everything that's old in DC and we start forging ahead into these phased out, cinematic events and continuity with animation and video games. So everything's going to be interconnected. So I feel like they should have put him in it as well to kind of cap off everything. And yeah, a good 8 out of 10. Like I say at the end of every review, go out, go see the video, go see the movie yourself. Make your own opinion. Do not let these people hinder your opinion. Always go in first. Go see it for yourself. Then come back. Hit me in the comments. Let's speak about this. But this has been AJ. This has been the Kayatic Dreams Podcast. And that has been The Flash. Go check it out. Go support.